Yeah, he told me yesterday that he might, and so
So, and the other, yes, I know. So the other, I mean, I want us to see vouchers in general, but vouchers for publications, I don't think you guys actually care. I mean, those should just be an automatic page. If there's a publication notice, I mean, it's not, it's no different than baggy orders, a piece of paper. But I mean, legal bills, you know, engineering, things that are affecting people's escrow accounts, but standard office practice.
so do you need to just push it, or like, you know, to stop by and I can always look at the scenario.
No, I'm perfectly fine on publication.
Okay.
I mean, you're submitting it, you know, you and Wendy, and then in town boards, you gotta be tracking it in your escrow. But
That's why that's for $100, and that's why I put nobody else been reimbursed. The only one that never got reimbursed, so that you know, is the Cedar one, because they disagreed with public hearings, so that's just gonna
No, so feed the nation. Okay. When we're all that will figure it out.
okay. The other thing that we got to put is people.
Okay, so that's right. So while we're waiting for Maggie to finish, is there anyone on the board who does not want me to have a phone contact? A phone contact?
Like
Your phone number, your cell phone number, your phone. Right. I mean,
Probably have 1,000 people.
Our phone number. Is there anyone who doesn't want that?
okay, so we're good. So Maggie will.
Yeah.
No, he's gonna. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
You have other.
So I have more important. I have to look at everything, but yeah, at their chart.
Okay, I'm ready.
So make a motion to call the meeting to order.
Make a motion, I'll be here.
All in favor? Aye. Stanford Rich. Raleigh, you want to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No, we're gonna do what is the.
These are the outright.
Right.
That's
good.
Yeah. So the procedure for this board, can't explain it, is if anybody has some general public comment that you'd like to make to the board, not about an application on the agenda tonight, but if there's something that you want to tell us, like enjoy spring, the flowers are blooming, thumbs out, I don't know. But anyway, this is your time. If nobody has any comments, we'll jump right into our agenda and get everybody out of here, hopefully as quickly as possible. Public comment closed. All right. So we're gonna shift, so I know some people are gonna be sitting here for a couple of minutes longer, but basically in order to keep town costs at a minimum, we're jumping the town's consultant who's here at an hourly rate to put on the agenda. So let's take that file. Paul?
Who wants to present, who wants, what sheet do you want put up? I have one digital, so you tell me what you want to do.
Remove this.
Why I didn't make it,
Okay.
Hershey?
And just give a quick 30-second rundown of what the application is for people in the audience and the board.
My name is Paul Tankis. I'm a local architect. I've been practicing in this area for about 50 years. And the town contacted me and they wanted to review the condition of the former library and develop plans along with the committee as to how to effectively reuse the library. So I came up. It was jointly developed, I can't take credit for this myself, with other people working with me. And we came up with this particular plan.
Yeah, wonderful.
I don't know if what the microphone or if people can hear you.
The building, the old library, we're basically going to restore it. With work, cut the
Yeah,
building,
just working on the plan.
remove the lead paint within the building. Basically just restore it, repaint it, fix the damaged siding, upgrade the windows. We already removed all the sheds that were around the building, remove the fire escape and add an addition to the building, which would house a new restroom and a handicapped entrance. So what we're doing, the intent of this is to make the building handicap accessible. We have a couple of handicapped parking spaces. We have a lift. So now if someone coming to a meeting in that particular building will have the ability to get in and use the facility.
But it's backwards.
We have a one-lane drive coming into the property, and that will circulate behind the building and exit onto Main Street. Okay, the area in front of the building, which is presently paved, will be landscaped. This area right here will be landscaped, so we'll be restoring some green to the street at least. Okay, all the lighting will be low bollard type lighting, so it'd be ground lighting versus overhead lighting. We have a little bit of lighting at the entrance doors and at the staircase and at the handicap lift, but those are all controlled lighting, and there will be dark sky lighting. All right. We're adding a septic system because we don't know what exists, how large the system is already there. We don't know the condition, so we're adding a new precast tank and a leaching field at the rear. The light fixtures, as I mentioned, the wall lights, they're rather, just to match the architectural style of the building. So we can go on to the next. And hopefully we hope that we'll be able to share the parking lot for spillover because we only have 6 parking spaces on the east side.
You want the elevations next?
That would be fine, yes. Okay, so this one, if you can move it up slightly.
Sure.
Right, this is existing, street elevation, which will remain as is. We're not going to change the appearance of the front of the building. We're just going to address some of the maintenance issues because it's been neglected for a number of years. Repaint it, fix the damaged siding, replace on the other, portion of the building. This would be the addition. Replace the existing windows, which, don't meet the energy code. These windows will be upgraded again to meet the energy code, leaving the front entrance as it is today, just doing some rework on the bluestone landings and so forth. But this will be basically a secondary entrance for egress, and emergencies and so forth. The primary entrance will be at the rear of the building. If we go up, okay, down, this is the back area. We have a covered entry porch, a few steps going up, and on this side of the building, we'll have a lift for handicapped individuals to enter the building. And right on the other side of the entrance will be a handicapped accessible door. And this is designed such that someone can use the lower floor without the other floors being impacted, more or less. So a guest who is here for a Hurley Day or Stone House Day, they can use the facilities and be contained within a lobby space where the restrooms are also contained. So the addition is rather small. I believe that I have my notes with me here on that. The addition is counting, it's a two-story addition and it's approximately 600 square feet. The porch is 62 square feet. And our coverage of the site is 6%. And the amount of green space that we have, we basically have covered the site with approximately, with paving and building, about 9%. So we're well under the criteria of the zoning regulations for the town, for that district. Any questions so far? Any comments as to? Yeah, yes,
Parking.
yes. We can go back to that.
Let's go back to that.
Yes. Okay,
Is there going to be parking in the front?
no parking in the front.
So it's just going to be 6 spots.
That's correct.
Plus 2 minutes. And you're expecting the library to also be accommodated.
Yes,
Are you familiar with the parking issues currently with parking at the library?
at the library, is this would be conceivably other hours than the library's main function? Because I see the library parking here when I've been here for surveys. Okay,
There's a constant need for parking in that area. There is no parking. So it's adding, you're taking 6 spaces and putting it in the back. So there's no additional parking at all.
Paul, perhaps I could speak as a member of the committee as to the sort of the plan for use of the space, and what that's gonna look like. So the library, we've worked with the library. The library has been involved in this process throughout, and the library has agreed to manage the use of the first floor community space, as part, basically, as an overlay, because they have groups that come in right now and meet in the room where the books are. So like somebody comes in and they want to go get a book out of the back, and the garden club's in there, or they're having a painting class with like people with paint, where this could be done next door in a space with no books. So, and then there's obviously the vision for like other ancillary groups and perhaps some of these more the advisory boards rather than the voting boards such as yourselves, to maybe meet over there. And then obviously the second story, the application states that we're going to use that as the historian's office. So the current historian lives within walking distance, so there would be no space used by that use. So that's sort of the vision. So as far as like the parking, I'm sure Paul can speak to that we're conforming with the amount of square foot.
Yes, we actually have double the parking of what the zoning requires for that square footage of the building.
I'm just saying that I'm familiar with the parking situation
Yes.
from my volunteer work with the Hurley Heritage Society Museum. There is no parking. And you're not adding more parking and there's no scalability. So we're assuming that there's not going to be any more volume. And maybe there won't be, but
I understand what
Probably,
you're saying.
I mean, is there a sufficient area to add additional parking? I mean, that's the way
That's the issue. Coming in off of Main Street, we really don't want that point of conflict as soon as you pull into the lot, someone backing out of these parking spaces. I know it's been that way for years, okay? But these areas are, areas of conflict where we could have, a traffic accident. So by removing the parking from the front of the building, okay, we restore some greenage to the streetscape. And by putting the parking back here, we were able to achieve 6 parking spaces. You didn't have 6 parking spaces in the front. I mean, it was very difficult to maneuver the way the parking was laid out in the front of the building. And what I had to do was put the septic system down in this area. Okay, so I really don't have, the site is very restricted. I did the best that we could under the circumstances. And I don't want to really remove this system, the leaching field too far. You can see the distance that I have right now. I could set it all the way to the rear, okay, but then again, I don't have any parking by doing that. It's just a very restricted site, and there's a lot of things.
Paul, is there enough parking for the number of square feet of the building? For the
Yes,
building?
there is, and when I reviewed the zoning, yes.
So the parking is by code.
The parking needs to go, yes.
And does the building on the right have parking now?
This building, yes, it does have parking.
So by adding this building and adding the 6 spots, you're meeting code?
you're taking, if I may say,
Sorry.
they're taking away space, parking in the front. So in the net, there is no net increase really. It's the same amount of parking that already exists there now. And there currently is a parking problem even with the building closed.
But
With
the
the what?
zoning requires 6 spots and you're providing. I guess the question I have is 6 were existing for the existing building and you're adding on X square feet. What is the additional square feet require additional parking?
Well, the parking was never marked, so it's hard to say how many parking spaces really existed in the front of the building. I've seen up to 4 cars in front of the building, okay? And if the town opts for putting additional parking in the front of the building, that's always an opportunity, but I don't feel comfortable with that approach.
What parking lot is it now? Who's parking there now?
In the front.
In the front? Who's parking in the
front.
front now? The library?
It's the old.
Yes. So
Okay.
we have the lawn area right here, we have a flagpole right here, okay? And you can see that we really don't have, without going very close to the street, we can't fit 6 cars in that spot.
It's my personal opinion, and I'm just one person that I like the greenery in front of the building. I think it adds to the quality of the town. And I always like parking in the back. But if the parking is 6 spots is required for the use that's there, it's unfortunate for the library that the parking spots that they had are being moved, but that's a different lot, a different use. So it's not a clean. I can understand wanting more parking, but there's no basis for us to require it. It's like, oh, let's do it.
And I'm sorry, John Perry. So as far as the ingress and the egress, you will not be able to put parking in the grid. The size of the ingress and egress is going to limit you to be able to do what you're asking to do anyway in the front. In order to get to the back, you have to have the ingress and egress put in there. By putting that in, you now remove 24 feet of that frontage just for the road. So by taking that parking space out, we had to put that in order to get the egress. So there really is no way to do it safely without, potentially having, like Paul said, an accident. So not only that, we can't put the parking in the front based on handicap accessibility. We cannot change the front. And Frank's here for the HPC. He can definitely contest to that. The back of the building is where we can do the different development in order to access or make accessibility for the ADA compliance of the handicap. But unfortunately, we'll lose those spots and it goes to the back.
One other thing that I'd like to point out is we're adding 2 dedicated handicap parking spaces plus a loading zone. So that's 3 parking spaces that we're basically giving up for the handicap and for a loading zone, which is required by code. So that's something that is necessary. And if I do this loop road around here, do I pick up 3 parking spaces, and is that is a sacrifice to the front of the building to take that lawn area and turn it into parking? I think that, that some of this overflow can be taken care of in this blacktop area right here in the library. Is there, it isn't that far a walk to some of the, adjacent streets up for parking. But I just think that this was a good compromise and the best we could do. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I don't know the administrative, technical aspects of the relationship with the town and the library.
Yes.
But could we see this, could you push this down a little bit again? No. So what you're creating, from what I can tell, is you're creating this loop. So you're creating more pavement, more asphalt that's going to go back and around this building that doesn't exist currently. So you're making all this asphalt, which is duplicative of the roadway for the library that also goes all the way back. They're literally parallel. So we're not getting any efficiencies.
Great. So it's great. Also, it's different property. It's not the same.
And there's also a historic well that exists.
There's no,
between the two sites.
Yeah.
We're not disturbing.
you'd have to create easements and you'd have to, these are things that we don't have to do by providing this.
That well served the tavern that existed on the site prior to the 1913 building that's currently there.
I think it's what
I'm just saying, I don't see
We're
any
faced with a
scalability.
we're faced with a compromise here. I mean, I feel very comfortable with this circulation, although we're putting in more pavement. Okay. We have to accommodate the handicap. We're taking impervious material and we're adding a rooftop, roof area and so forth. So there is some downside to it, but this was the best that we could come up with as a group.
Okay. I think that it's a valid question. I can't impose that the neighbor provide easement for the neighbor. It sounds as if you were already having dialogue with the library about some
Yeah,
shared.
just about shared use of the space, not so much about it.
But so where's the well that you're saying we need to protect?
Between properties.
So what?
But I'm not saying put the road where the well is. I'm just saying, why not use the existing roadways in the library to get into the back and then flank out in the back from a single.
To do that in the future, but at this point, you don't have the right to do that.
Yeah, no, so I'm, right, we can't impose that.
We do meet code.
We've
So
already-
it's a request, I understand, and it could be a future request that could be implemented, but at this point, we do meet code, so.
No, right, don't bring it back to the board, but I think that the board is just raising a good thing
Right, I
for you to
agree.
consider in terms of working together, going down. And basically it would save you the cost of developing the driveway on that side of the road if you could create a connector and then potentially expand some of the parking area.
I mean,
I had a comment that I think the lot on the left, I'll call it the new lot, is efficiently using its footprint. The library, which is a small building with a lot of paved area, probably isn't using their parking space. Is there, I mean, I don't feel that it's good to encumber the new site with the problems that the library has with their parking. I mean, if you're meeting the code, now, does the extra 600 square feet invoke an additional parking spot? Or is this 6 spots for the entire building, new and old?
That's correct. Based on the aggregate square footage, we require 6 spots.
Including the new? Well,
Yes.
I don't think we have any basis.
No, we're not, yeah, we're not, yeah, I'm not looking
You
at.
basically, you gained 8 because you got it 2.
Yeah.
In total, you gained 8 parking.
Raleigh is just raising an issue of planning, good proper
You're
planning.
losing the front parking. It's going to be green space. And that currently is 6 spaces.
No, there's no 6 space in that.
Okay, let's
I've
just,
lived here once. There's no 6.
I mean,
Four.
move on, we've got the parking, I mean,
People are organized.
And if there was a way to do this, if you could eliminate this road, you would pick up 2 more parking spaces and loop out through the library and out to the schoolhouse.
And they have a septic consideration with why that's cut the way it is. I believe that their septic is siting to the rear there in that spot. So, you know, trying to jump the road over their septic isn't a thing. So when that septic fails down the road, which they all do eventually, then at that time, I would recommend reimagining the use of the site. But until such of a time, it's an unnecessary encumbrance on the library district, on their taxpayers.
but
well,
it's,
the taxpayers are ours.
it's proper for this board to raise.
I'm not saying it's incorrect.
No, it's not, it may not function now, but we're just bringing it up for the future. Okay.
I'm sorry, I am asking questions because it's the time to ask questions, I assume. And secondly, I feel the need for scalability. We're building for a town that existed 20 years ago in terms of parking. And the demands are only increasing at this point because more people are interested in coming. You've got Novo Foundation and their new facility just down the street and some other things. And so you want to accommodate potential to grow as opposed to punt and then having in 5 years' time to have to return to all this. That's, I'm asking and saying that possibly could be the case. So, but I don't want to beat a dead horse. I just wanted to bring that up.
I think by going deeper into the site, moving this back, you would have some impact on your neighbor. And by keeping this upward as we've done, we don't have, after a meeting or whatever, you don't have any impact on that particular neighbor.
Does anybody have any questions about the actual building, the addition or?
What's the plan for the second floor? I mean, obviously.
Private office is down the
Okay,
story.
how are you gonna make that handicap?
It doesn't need to be, it's not required.
It's under 3,000 square feet.
And Jim would come down and meet in the main, meeting space that we have, because to make that handicap accessible is, almost impossible.
And the vision is also like for the historian, potentially to change like the exhibits on the walls in the community space out, as time goes on. So like, this month, maybe there's a map of the old reservoir parcels, and then next month there's a map of, who lived on Main Street in 1680s.
And you will have to do some work on that stair in the building.
The stair is gonna be put back over.
Yes, the stair has been eliminated inside the existing building and built completely new because you didn't have the headroom.
The plans of the interior portion of the new 600 square feet. You'll see the new stairs that are being.
Do we want to? So we've got, this is a bifurcated application. The first, we've got the site plan. And then we also have the, visual or.
Certificate
A lot of people visual assessment, but it's
Certificate of appropriateness.
Could you possibly go to the floor plan?
And, I am.
That would be up,
Very first one. Interior.
What you might want it. Second guess myself.
Well, it's uploading. So one of the concepts also, so that's where we're gonna meet for our, the historian's gonna meet for the tours. Currently, he meets people here and then they have to drive back up. So now we have an actual location. We know we can park, meet, we can have the tour right outside and then meet back and finish up. So
okay, so this is the second floor, the archive room. We have a staircase that has a couple of landings to it in order to meet the physical height. We had to do this type of design. We have an area up here where will be an open loft area that overlooks the staircase. On the lower floor, we have the handicap lift. We have an entrance area. We have stairs for steps, really, I should say, to access the porch. And then we have some drinking fountains, which are required by code, a handicap bathroom, and then a prep area for, say, coffee or whatever like that for meetings. So, and then we have the large existing space, which everything will be removed from there. The staircase will be removed, and it will be one large open room for meetings and so forth.
So the concept was to take that historical building, clean it out, make a really beautiful space for exhibits and presentations, and put all the support in the back and the addition. So we actually have a much cleaner, nicer space in the front than exists now.
What's the square footage for that?
Square footage, I have to look at my notes here. It's 600 square feet.
The first floor. is that what you're
First
asking?
floor and second
The
floor.
meeting.
The meeting area.
The new area.
I thought the addition was 600.
The addition 600. How big is the addition?
300 square feet.
So your total is 900 square feet?
So it's 150 per floor on the
All
addition,
the same, 600.
or 300 per floor?
300 per floor.
Okay.
on the existing.
How many square feet is
I
this
don't think we
grand
had one
meeting room
conversation.
Yeah. that was-
This meeting room?
or dimensions?
Well, basically, it's that full 300 square feet, extracting the perimeter walls. So extracting the perimeter walls off of the 300 square feet will give you that area of the meeting,
How big is that?
probably about 280, 270, somewhere.
What's the dimensions? 20 feet by 15 feet?
22 foot by, I think it's 30 feet.
So I'm confused. The whole building is 900 square feet, which means
No, the
600
whole
is-
building is 1312.
Okay. And the addition that with the bathrooms and the kitchen, that's the 600 square feet?
That's correct. And that's the 2 floors. Okay.
And this building is for the whole community or just for the historian?
No, this is for the community. When I understand that this is for multiple
So you'll be able
uses.
to, like we had, like we stated earlier, overflow for the library, for their programs. It's also going to be for like our STR, our rail trail committee, any committees that now can't find time and space that are basically meeting and pergolas and different areas like that now have a common space to go to. So these are what we're trying to conceptually bring together that we can't do here, as well as open to the community. Let's say for a get together of some sort, a birthday party, it's going to be open to the community, absolutely.
Weekend as well, they say to use it.
So we have events like the Memorial Day, when we have the Heritage Society, when they do theirs, this is going to be open for them. So this is something, for town-wide.
All right, so can we wrap up the site plan? Everybody comfortable with? Okay, so
I got a question. Paul? You looked at these prints and what have you, right?
Yeah, there's been some expansive back and forth. This has been 10 months in the works.
Uh-huh.
Your questions, Raleigh, while legitimate, there are some severe site limitations and severe limitations to the building. It's one of Jesus' special miracles that it's gotten to this point. While we all like to accommodate additional parking for the library, it isn't there. You can build it out in the future as an idea. It's not there. The site logistics do not lend itself in any way, shape, or form for that. Paul and I went back and forth multiple times for 7 months to make sure that the building was code compliant. It took a lot of creative thinking, a lot of research on both of our behalves. But like I said, Frank's been involved with this, John's been involved, Tim Kelly took point on it. There was a lot of interaction. We rejected the ramp in the front. There was no room for a discharge aisle. A ramp on the historic district wasn't going to work. Logistically, it went back. Even the bathrooms had to get moved back. So in terms of the physical construct of the waste disposal system, we could make the fits. All the logistics on this were actually very well thought out. I'm not saying that you don't have to right to tweak it, but it's a very difficult, very challenging site and building to get it to this point.
And we've actually also not only gotten it shovel ready, gotten it funded, 3/4 of the money, fill in topic and we donated it.
All right, so
Well, before you move any further, I would just like the HPC to make their comments, but we do have. We do have. Okay, so let's just go ahead and see the site plan.
close this one. And yeah. All right, we need to have a public hearing, or this is, I don't think so, right? So as long as everybody's comfortable with this, I'd make a motion. Anybody uncomfortable with a motion to approve this, we would, okay, so this is a type 2?
It's less than 4,000 square feet, so, yeah.
Type 2. This is type 2?
Motion, yeah,
Motion to.
I'll second.
okay, good motion.
That's your job.
Okay.
My job is
Ray,
the type 2.
okay. Ray and Carl.
Ray and Carl. All those in favor? Make a motion to approve the site plan for the Hurley Center.
Hurley Heritage Community.
Community Center, as shown. All those in favor?
So Dennis motioning and Ray second?
Oh,
Perfect.
I guess so.
Yes. All those in favor? Okay, let's go on to the certificate of appropriateness. Frank, if you're on.
So, you know, the HPC is made up of 5 members. 3 of the members actually are on this committee, but we all unanimously said it fits within historic parameters. We particularly, like Deborah, that we're returning green space to Main Street. I think it's a big plus. It was something from the beginning that we wanted to do. And plus the handicap access in the back, the parking needs to be back there. So, but anyway, it was unanimous from the HPC. Everyone was good with it.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Okay, make a motion to approve,
Still have to classify it.
classify the type 2. Okay, second? Got that?
Yes.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion to approve. We didn't get to approve. I promise I'll get this down soon. I'll have like a formal, like a take a motion. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay, let's go. Next item on the agenda. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're on your clock. 6:10.
We're all looking forward to being invited to the opening ceremony.
All right. Thank you all for your service to the town.
It's all right. So let's look. I know Raleigh and Maggie.
Isn't this lovely?
Do you like it?
I do. I take Maggie, I like it.
Got the right information.
Well, no, if we could get this call, if we could just. If we could just go down on the,
Don't worry, we're good.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your service to the town.
So on the case, we did receive written comments. We have had a couple of other comments by neighbors. I don't know whether, from my perspective, I don't know that any new information has come to light that was different than information that we've heard before. So I was not necessarily anticipating opening the public hearing again, but I'd like to get a sense from the board. Now, the last thing I will say though, is that I did recommend to the applicant that he go and seek a new title search and title insurance. Clarity. So he would see it, whatever the open issue is or potential open issue is still open. But I'm not, I mean, he's agreed to the note on the map, but he's not doing it, so I don't think it's not something we would require. It's just, I made that recommendation to him, but the question is whether or not, there are a couple of people, I believe, that are here to comment on it, but we can take written comment. I don't know that there's anything new, or we can open it up quickly and just look to the board for some direction on how you wanna.
We have people here that want to speak, but I should give them a chance to do so. Are there anything, the comments that would be of interest to us? To vote?
You all got the comments before,
Oh,
so it's the old one, so. There's nothing, I mean, it's still just the reiteration that there's a concern, but there's nothing concrete that anybody has been able to provide us, so. Okay, so that, if that's the case, everybody, I know that we have one gentleman, I don't know if we have anyone else here. Anybody here to speak about Lucchese's subdivision?
The usual three.
Oh, there you are, I didn't see you. So,
I want to speak.
I don't know what I wanted.
We got the title.
Okay,
It's clear, except they reference that map in the notes on it. That's in the B. It's in the B. So
And
we're
what-
back at square one.
So
We weren't
it's-
gonna have enough time
Decided
for
last
Colin to redo we weren't gonna have enough time to get everything.
we do the math and but so they've given you, they reference the notes, but do they give you,
it says it's vested in FISA.
okay, so.
Right, do they want to submit a copy to the record?
Couldn't hurt.
I can.
You can have this one.
Or I can.
I can make a quick copy.
We don't need you.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
this at the office, I can do it again, so you can have that.
That's a big foot copy. Oh, that's.
I can scan it and email it to everybody, so.
I don't want
Okay, well, so if you want to look at it, you can. That's the title search.
to. Okay, so let's reopen the public hearing. So that we can take a.
No,
They're in here.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Okay. Sir, you're on.
My name is Steve Burke. I'm a cousin of the owners of the adjacent property. We've been there since about 1900.
Is that both the arcade?
James Hanson. And they're the owners actually here. To show my face and see some comments and proposed neighbor has and what the board has.
Oh, see,
We were just concerned that you obtain a clear title. And then, was there any drainage issues? Like we mentioned, there talked to the building inspector and voicing concern about drainage issues.
And we did talk about that last time. but I thought we
You went to
should
the
all-
site visit on the 30th. There was some of you that went up there.
right. Yeah, we all,
Here, right.
Oh, that's what I was here. April 30th, there was a site visit. What was determined out of that?
There didn't seem to be concern about the drainage.
So there's, in your opinion, there's no concern with drainage.
And that seems to be, there didn't seem to be, and that was pretty much the consensus. I think all still there.
I thought he was. He said he was going to say.
He's talking in the alcove.
I mean,
The one I just heard, am I correct in stating that the title search is complete? And,
Okay.
it's not raising exceptions.
Apology.
And
Paul, when we did the site visit with Casey, we didn't see any concern about drainage.
Relative to where the house location is? Is
yeah,
that the question? No, the house was actually at least a cleared area. It was in a low spot. And it went up fairly steeply on the one side and moderately steeply on the other. Any possible drainage from impervious surface would actually flow deeper onto the subject property. That was my impression.
No, that's nice. So,
in your opinion,
so, but the public hearing is your sort of, I mean, in general, it's directed at the board, you can ask the, but
So.
Appeared to be no issue with drainage on the site visit. There was no concerns.
I understand lot number one needs a septic system, so no, so it cannot be built on, but still true.
No. That lot number one, so it has, they have the septic approvals for the lots.
Because all three lots have septic approvals.
Not Board of Health.
No, you've got the engineer and right there.
Yeah, you're waiting for the design.
Right.
Mr. Sharon did.
Right, we have
Yeah.
letters that basically say that the sites are suitable, provided by it. Okay, all right. So I mean, the issue is if your list is the same list we've gone through,
Yes, I'm just reiterating what was in my cousin's, questions he raised in his, April 27th.
not meaning any disrespect, we have those.
Okay. So he's been answered.
Well, he's just asking.
Yeah. So, but on the site, right, on the site, the question is whether or not we had it. When we did our site visit, there was no impediments that were visibly evident to the board members. Correct?
And our neighbor has clear title to the property at this point.
Just provided a title report.
Well, I think I'm done. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, any other comments about this? public hearing? Then I make a motion to close the public hearing. Or,
Motion for.
are you, don't deserve too much.
Okay.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
So the plan is to build 3 houses on 3 lots.
Ultimately, I mean, I can't tell you that he's planning on building them in the immediate future, but at some point in time,
Has the property been successfully subdivided?
that's what this application is about.
Again, I'm coming into this a little.
No, understood.
That's still irrelevant.
Yeah, no, I'm completely understood. Right, yeah, so that is what's going on here, is that the applicant has made the application for a subdivision.
Okay, I'm done. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. What's next? I classify this as
Unlisted. This was unlisted.
oh, that's right, because it's almost
It's a major subdivision, according to her.
Sorry, my fault.
From last year.
But 3 lots is major subdivision does not compute my
We'll
brain.
discuss that on Friday.
Okay,
Yeah.
right, that's the way it is now. So, no, I'm just saying it doesn't in my brain work that way. So do we have a motion to classify this as a unlisted, sorry?
It was done like.
The classification was done last year?
Yeah, they've been here since September, so it was done back then.
So we're done, okay.
It's a classification. Unlisted, but
Did they do the 4?
they didn't, no, they didn't finish part 2 or part 3 because
Okay,
they were
but
drafted.
it's been
public hearing.
submitted.
Yes,
Okay, can you pull up?
And class 3, they have to pay for the, what is the fee? Is the fee?
type 1.
No, on the 3 lot.
Oh, on the 3
Oh,
Recreation, yeah.
Currently, negotiated $5 for the September. Did
I started when
used
the
to-
3 came into effect and then.
it
Yeah.
used to be-
Usually I'll pay it.
Okay. Yeah.
all right, does the board want to, we don't have any updated plans. Do we want to- We don't have a draft resolution. Do we want to-
And the draft part 2.
Do we want to move to the next application, so we're not?
Don't
Well,
we-
you call the
now we're
public
gonna
hearing.
go to the business subdivision, right?
Well, we closed the public hearing.
What was that? I'm sorry.
So, Maggie's,
We're thinking we're gonna approve the subdivision. Yes, you do. But you have to come back to another. When you go to build, where you're putting the house, the septic and the well, we want to see all of them. That's not a hard question. Beg your pardon?
That's typically handled through the.
Are you talking about the septic?
Yeah, that would be the building department.
No, you got your engineer.
I mean,
They will have to have approved.
Yeah, because that's right.
Septic systems before we get a building permit, and that's stuff we go to the building department.
But when you build a house,
But we'll be essentially finished.
I think we need that. I guess, a subdivision
No, we have the engineering. We have the engineer's letter that says that.
that will be approved.
but their part of it is in R4, so when you're up going to build a house, you gotta come back for visual assessment.
Or we can, right.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not, when you build a house, you have to come back for a permit.
Or it has to be.
You won't get a permit.
They'll say- So the portion A4 requires a visual assessment, and it says here that part of your property is on an A4. So if you're building a house on the A4 portion, you have to come back to forest, right, for your ground siding.
That would be whoever decides to buy
Yes,
the lots
exactly,
and build
exactly,
the houses, that their, I don't want to say problem, and you guys are so pleasant to deal with. In their issue, that's.
Like we did with facts, like, they said, hey, you can do any one of these, and the board says, because the visual assessment really says it's not applicable.
So-
to something.
So what are we waiting on?
The difference between the Baxters and Baxter was going to build the houses, these people are just going to sell the
Are we
lots.
voting to approve this? This is the draft determination?
Yes.
Part of this, there was a question about,
There's a
does
discussion
the
about
visual
what we're not
assessment
needing.
have to happen when you do the site plan subdivision? Or can it happen when you get the subsequent permit to build the actual house?
Yeah, you have two options. It can be done at the time of subdivision. You're in the process of doing that with the Field Paper Road subdivision.
Uh-huh,
Historically, it was done on another one on High Rocks Road. It can be done now with the appropriate submitted materials if the proposed house site on the subdivision sites are in the A4 district.
All right, so we don't have to. do-
or it can be done later.
Well, the truth is, the ones that were done previously, other than Field Paper, which is very new and still in process, it was the owners that were going to build. In this case, it looks to me like these lots are for sale. My suggestion would be to let the individual lot owners come in for the visual assessment because they can do a little ramp out outside and somebody can come in and want a 4-story glass.
Gotcha.
Right,
And I
right.
can approve it. That's just my
There's some kind
suggestion.
So like I said, you would send them over to us.
I would
So I
have
think
to,
in
yes.
our
It would be
approval,
appropriate.
just make a
Yeah,
statement.
in our approval, we should make reference to that we're not
How we're gonna
approving
do it.
visual assessment because the homeowners are not existing,
The designs are not.
Exactly, you're gonna sell the prop.
I don't think it's necessary to put that in
Okay,
the approval because
No,
that's
Paul.
just code and
Paul,
that would just, that would be normal
He knows that.
procedure anyway.
okay.
You're just adding unnecessary.
I'm just trying to let them get
Wait, we had different. As long as everybody's good, I'm fine. We're good. Okay, so
Do we have a draft resolution for this?
let's do our EAF first.
Okay,
Okay. Now my normal process is to just let you guys quickly look at it, go through it. If there's something that somebody wants to talk about, we can talk about it when we get to, this is a 3-lot subdivision. I don't believe that it has significant impact. So as long as everybody's good with, actually, this is already checked off, but it's.
Yeah, when I reviewed these, they were already checked off, and I assume that that was based, checked it off with Maggie. We already done an assessment, is that what, or
It's
interpretation?
what I believe, based on your discussions and everything, seems to be relevant. If you don't agree with it, it's easy to change.
No, I just wanted to.
Okay.
Now you just scroll down
No,
to the,
just keep
so you can see the
scrolling.
bottom of the.
Okay, everybody good for 11?
Yeah.
Good. Let's go to the next one.
And next one is the actual part
Yeah.
three.
On.
That's it, this is what I wrote. That's what adopt.
If you take the cursor out of the middle of your text.
Oh, that big hand.
Yeah, so I can find it on. I have it figured out, so if you want me to change it.
It's fine.
Here, we're already. I think.
Or I know excess.
Means I need to.
No, she's joking.
Oh.
Okay, who would like to
I
make a
have a
motion?
question, I have.
Motion to accept the EAF?
I'll second if this was read.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay.
Do a quick copy and some, I'll put it out for you to sign.
Okay.
So your process here is you do a sketch approval and then a final after they submit?
No, for the major, we do sketch, then preliminary, then final. But, yeah, and, I mean. I-
Okay, let's roll them all. Yeah, right, yeah. let's
Well, I
roll.
didn't do a preliminary, I only did sketch, because.
Okay.
But.
Yeah.
I need a copy from you.
Yeah, so can you,
Do-
no, can you get rid of the upper margin and everything so people can see more of the document? Or just pull it up? Are you able to pull this up on the screen?
Network comes out and we're full screen.
Okay, so I'll scroll. Right? So start reading. While we're waiting. Okay, whereas the planning board received an application for subdivision approval on 9/5/24, along with a short EAF and the draft delineating the layout of proposed 3 lots and the appropriate fees. And whereas the application was reviewed by the planning board which identified several items that needed addressing, and the planning board had held a workshop with the applicant, their agent, the board consultants on 10/10/24. The applicants revised the plat material based on input from the workshop meeting, based on the 2/26/25 agenda under open business. And whereas the planning board classified the action as an unlisted action on 2/25/25, and further declared a neg debt on 5/28/25. And whereas the planning board held a public hearing on 3/26/25, public comment was heard and entered into the record. Public hearing on 3/26. We also took comments in the April meeting, correct?
There were some, there, it wasn't during the public hearing, but yes, you're right. There was some.
25.
Yeah.
And 5/28/25 were heard and entered into the record by the planning board. And whereas on 3/26, the town of Hurley Planning Board reviewed the following waiver requests. Motion was made by Mitch Cohen, seconded by Griffin Well, to grant the requested waivers with the vote of 7 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent. Sorry. And whereas on 5/28/25, public hearing was closed.
Anything about the title?
Yep.
Okay, great, because I didn't have it.
Seeker vote. Taken. And whereas on 5/28, applicant provided title report with no exceptions. And whereas there were no remaining issues or remaining open issues.
Open issues.
Open issues. Now therefore be it resolved. Approve. Approve. File number 24, 17. Yeah, 3-lot. Subdivision.
Issue sketch where
No, I'm just approving it. Anybody have any issues approving this application? Okay, so the next piece, which I would appreciate, is are there any conditions that we need to modify the map? I think that the map, other than we have a clean title report. Do we want that note still to remain on the map?
Well, has the map been revised as far as graphically? Or is it still?
There has not been any request from the board for revisions.
No, also-
No, I don't mean revisions as to move a tree over. The original application, like all kinds of colors on it, and it was very hard to read. Has that been cleaned up and?
yeah, that was just a setting in CAD that was turned
Okay,
on.
and it's a clean, okay, that's what I want. to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It only showed up digitally, not on the, it was a setting in CAD.
And you left the clear title notation on the map.
Or the unclear title.
Well, so now we have clear title, so that's why.
No, because the title report referenced that,
No,
that-
so that's why I'm right.
it referenced that notation, correct? And did you say,
As does the map that's currently in front of you.
right, so that's why I think you just leave it.
Old map.
You leave it, you don't change it, because the title report references it, so you just
Same
leave it
time.
as is.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
So,
So do we have a clean title?
but I thought we decided that wasn't really our business.
But the title report referenced the fact that it was on the thing and therefore they're negating it, so it's like a double negative, it's clean.
Well, they didn't reference they referenced in general terms all notes on file pass, not specifically to that.
The new person buying one of these lots would have this, it would be up to him to make sure everything is copacetic.
Correct. And their title people will pull up the same
Probably
note
her.
from that 2019 map. It's just a fact. There's no way to get rid of that because that's already filed.
Yeah, but it's for
When
now,
they're
it's fine the way it is, that's what we agreed on.
Yes.
Anything else that needed to be, the road was present, all's not here, but I don't think there was
That's all
any change.
here. He's hiding behind Mr. Looking.
Sorry, Paul, there was nothing that we needed, from the site visit, there was nothing that needed to be noted on the map
I,
at all.
nothing of note at all.
So,
Okay,
We still never got clear cut through the potential lots from the highway super above.
It's all painted out. I've been talking to Mike about it. If you put that as condition for the
Yeah.
approval, I'll get you back. So we don't have to bother you guys.
well, we love seeing him.
I'll be around for other things. You can't get rid of
For a
that.
long time, I hope.
Tracy,
There might be, why would
can I
I,
interject with
yeah,
one
I don't
thing?
think Mike would have to, because that road has a curb cut on the town road. It's just a private road at that point, correct?
Are you talking about the driveway on Dominic Drive?
No, lots 2 and 3.
If the town road, you need a curb cut.
Yes,
On the town road.
from my drive.
The other road, you don't.
2 and 3 are on.
You do not, but what I want to bring up is that whether you want to consider it or not, for lot 1 to have a house on it, Dominic Drive would have to be suitably improved from Dug Hill Road to the driveway. That's for the New York State Fire.
Right, that's gonna be falling under your jurisdiction.
It's gonna be what?
That falls under your jurisdiction.
It is, yeah. I just want the board to be aware of that.
Well, we talked about that
You did, okay, you covered it good. Thank you, Ray.
when we were up there.
Yeah, we did. I didn't know if the board was aware.
So that
2 and
are on the maps.
I think it's just one printing them in color. They're meant to be black and white,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's okay. That was fun.
Okay. Outside the curb cut approval for lots 2 and 3, any further conditions of the board?
Where we going to the individual assessment.
No. Okay,
Okay. Why are you looking at me?
all in favor, actually, somebody make a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, and I'll second it.
Make a motion. Make a motion to approve the determination. Subdivision.
Right, as read,
Yeah, as read, as modified
as
by,
modified,
yeah, in red.
in red.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor, let's do a roll call on this. So, Raleigh? Raleigh? Aye.
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Aye. Yes.
All right,
Carl?
all right.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. So bring us your map with the proper notes and. And any
Yes.
Did you know that the colors that is signify different line weights, so you can get a dark line and a light?
There's two different schools of thought on that. What you're saying is correct in one context, but if you choose to do the final maps in color in it, it's a whole different thing. I personally always did my maps in black and white, and the color
Dan likes you on
defined
that.
how thick the line weights came out. But if you've chosen, as Don has chosen, to do his maps in color, color is out of the map.
You know what that means? That means that we're old.
It's a whole different way of
It
thinking.
is,
I have to
isn't it?
tell you,
Okay.
it's the biggest adjustment that I had to make was drafting in color.
Remember this?
I do.
Okay, next. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, everyone.
I didn't email you one of those.
I just paid for your private road. So your private road or your neighbor's private road?
I will go.
So how's the ZBA?
I won't know. Is that all right?
Okay, all right. So we have,
Yeah.
Now we're on agreement.
Whatever town.
Okay, 3 minutes.
We, at the last meeting, it was decided that board members would take a drive-by to look at whether or not planting trees would have an impact on visual. Those specific, correct,
Meaning the species that we asked for, or just the?
species that, right,
A species that was designated by the.
by the engineer or the.
Solar,
Yeah.
yeah. Everyone agreed to. That everyone agrees, right?
Yeah. Try to change that agreement to eliminate.
You want to eliminate it
Yeah,
and not put anything.
that's right.
So who drove by? Did he? The three of us. Guys, did you have a chance to drive?
So I have a few
Take a
times.
video?
I did, of course, yeah.
Oh. Good for you. Good one for the weather yet, wait for the video.
Let's wait for them to look at the video.
Okay.
Who took the video?
Right?
I don't know, was there on the file?
Peter,
Here.
Oh, so this is a while ago. Okay.
this is before the event bill.
Oh, okay, so that's not gonna help much.
No, but it'll give you an idea.
I was there today and I took photographs.
Oh, did you know?
I did email them to you since I got here, but let me just say to you, I'll give you my feedback. From the private road, obviously when you go past the driveway, you see the solar array. From the other roads, it's pretty obscure through all the deciduous oh. I mean, it's there. If you look right in the middle there, it's to the left of that one tree, that's up, go straight up, Matt, you with your pointer finger.
Yeah, you
See,
see
that's
it.
it. So in
You know,
this.
you see the top, right?
Yeah. In this deciduous foliage, it's not visible. Do we want to make them have it a non-deciduous tree? Is that what?
There's a disconnect here,
Okay,
because from that view, there's nothing planned to go there. There's
No
nothing
plan to go
along Maverick, you mean?
along Maverick.
Where were
There
the
is
trees gonna go on the driveway?
along Linwood Lane.
So
Let me give you the map here that I had in hand.
Well, now if you go to the next picture after this, south side.
thank you.
Just to refresh you on this. There's the array. This is coming down, it's Maverick. This is one tree, and these are the other two trees. But this one isn't even screening from the agreed neighbor. Well,
The
put, yeah.
agreed neighbor is north, due north of the array.
Well, you know,
It's on the other side of
there's
the
always an
Maverick Road.
interesting spot that we're in, because the existing neighbor, maybe live a long time, might go out tomorrow. And then I have another neighbor that moves in and says, oh, I can see those solar arrays.
But the trees aren't in the.
No, but the trees weren't asked along, the trees, go back to the first picture. It's obvious if you're gonna have there you go. So he's gotta put trees all along the right side to hide that array.
But Maverick, or Linwood Lane is private. I don't have to screen from Linwood Lane. It's a private road.
Well, it's for neighbors, they say, isn't it, for neighbors?
The neighbors are across Maverick.
Across Maverick,
Who lives on Linwood Road?
and part of Maverick is visible with leaves on.
It is visible with leaves on, with
And when leaves go off, you see quite a bit.
everything. Yeah, that's it.
From Maverick.
And that's what we agreed on.
No, the screening, what
The
Paul
screening.
is saying, the screening is not along Maverick. The screening is along Linwood. It's right
No,
here.
one tree is long, Winwood, two are in the corner, close to Maverick.
But
Yeah,
still,
and they really want to be here. And why don't you want to plant any trees or just not? in the
I don't want
location?
to plant any trees
Why?
because they don't, none of those trees even remotely address the issue at hand, which is the neighbors across Maverick.
I don't care about them. I care about the I care about the area because the neighbors are.
And the rules say that I don't have to screen from a private road. I don't have to screen from public road. And, well, for the neighbors and stuff, but none of the required trees address any of that.
Well, who spotted these trees? Do we spot these trees, these three trees?
The contractor,
Oh, that was your contract.
yeah, the
Your
solar contractor,
contractor, you agreed to
the
it.
solar contractor put them on the plan. Everybody agreed. And now I realize.
No, we didn't agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did.
No, we
planning board agreed.
Okay.
You might not have been here.
Not all of us. Then.
This body agreed to those plans. And I agreed to those. But upon reflection, I believe I made a mistake and should not have agreed to those because they have absolutely no bearing on what was the primary concern to begin with, was people across Maverick Road.
So so the question I have is, you're here before us as a revised application or new application?
And amended.
Pull up the.
You have to pay for these trees, correct?
Yeah,
Okay. And they're blue spruce? Is that what they were?
yeah, that's what they said.
Okay. And that's a kind of an expensive tree.
I don't know how to shop
Well,
the tree.
And, there's 3 of them?
Yes,
I think you could plant 6 green giants for the same price or less.
is that an arborvitae?
Yeah.
Yeah, then anyhow.
So
I'm not
Plant
saying
blue
never
spruce
arborvitae.
you don't like it? Oh, okay.
I mean, the concern is when the leaves are off those trees, you can see that you're right.
So, hold on, Raleigh,
Where I'm putting, okay.
no, let's just, hold on, we understand that where those trees are,
Actually, you don't seem to understand.
where those trees on the plan are located doesn't achieve anything. That I do understand. I drove by the day. It took me driving by it. I didn't really see it until I was past it. And then I saw it slightly more as I was heading back towards 28 on Maverick.
The majority of the views from Maverick Road are hidden by deciduous trees.
Right.
I tried to look in there, yeah, I tried to look in there to see if there were any evergreens that might be hiding it, and I couldn't, because the
There are,
weren't happy.
yeah.
Yeah.
There are evergreens between the array and Maverick. There's 2 white pines, 3 white pines, and then some other pines. But they're like 10 feet tall, and our yard is at one level, and Maverick Road is
Yeah, it's
about
higher, yeah,
11 feet higher.
So they're
Listen,
down in the gully is what
So
you're
they
saying.
haven't grown yet. So even if all the leaves are gone, these trees over here will not do anything for
I'm
anybody.
saying I agree with the location of the 3 trees is kind of weird, okay? But I'm saying that aren't we mandated to visually shield from the public road, unless it's changed, the solar arrays, because they are not visible, they are visible now with trees, with leaves, and they're not when they're not. I know your approval is one thing, but you're coming back before it's to revise the approval?
So
I'm asking for an amendment to eliminate the requirement for those.
And what
trees.
we're saying is that we would amend it, but to move the trees where we think they should have been.
hold on, let Raleigh who's
And I'll be
been very
quiet.
nicely with.
I coincidentally was in the planning board in the audience when you came up before the planning board. And there was a neighbor or neighbors across the street who were quite exercised about this.
Yeah.
There are people saying, oh, there's going to be solar panels and it's going to be distracting. Drivers down Maverick are going to crash because they, for some reason, saw a solar panel. So my question is that the placement of requested locations of these trees are not going to shield at all from Maverick Road your panels. Is that your position, that they're not going to achieve that goal? Okay.
That's correct. They will do absolutely nothing.
And you're saying that there are evergreens that are growing currently that are going to eventually shield in the wintertime, which is almost 6 months of the year.
Yep.
All right. Do you have any photographs of those?
I tried to take, when I stood behind the solar array and took a picture, but you really couldn't see it.
Well, here's a picture of the Maverick Road
But if,
before the car came to hit me. And I know, I'm just gonna point out, because I'm not sure people see it, but this right here is the solar array, okay? And everything in front of it is deciduous.
And this is
This,
taken,
these little things are not. I don't know how long they're gonna grow for.
this, is this picture taken from
there's
the
an
road?
area photo of this lot without any leaves on the tree. If you could call that out.
That may be what.
But how, it's an aerial photos, but that doesn't help.
Yeah,
It's on the parcel.
because I can point out to you where the evergreens are between the array and Maverick Road.
Well,
Okay,
so you point out this picture, this is between the Ray and Maverick
You
Road.
can't see them because of the leaves.
It doesn't seem like,
that's interesting.
it doesn't seem, I remember that
Like
meeting.
8 or 9 feet tall,
So,
and you're standing 10 feet above that.
And it was agreed that you would do that at that time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and now you're coming back and saying you don't want to do it and you're not gonna put anything
no,
at
no,
all.
so hold on. You said you don't want to put it in arborvitae. What about planting some native pine?
I would gladly plant a native pine, but if we're gonna mess with it, I'm gonna plant them where it says now.
Not,
Then you just go ahead and plant.
Well, that's spiteful. That's not
If
accomplishing
that's what you want to
anything.
do, then
Yeah, but
Well, that's spiteful. That's not.
I have never been treated like this by a public
You know, I'm
body.
sorry to say this, but we are here to work on behalf of the public to our best extent. If this is, we're willing to listen to this again, let me finish, please. And if you're not gonna take anything but a no, don't bother with the trees, or yes, put them here, that's not really working with the community that you live in.
I'm not saying, I have not said that once.
okay,
But
so,
we say 3 trees where we want,
so, right, I would say 3 native pines along in those,
along Maverick.
Why can't you give me the courtesy of the aerial photograph where I can point out?
Do we have, we don't know. How do we
That
have
are
it?
there.
Do we have an aerial photograph that we could show?
It's the parcel viewer. Let me see if I can pull it up on the parcel viewer. That's all it is the Exeter County.
Okay, well, that will work. Or you can do Google Maps and get a.
No,
So it's
the
not a
parcel viewer.
So it's not a satellite, it's not a satellite.
That's a bit,
Yes.
bit address.
What, I mean, if you don't have photographs showing that you've already got the plantings in place to address the issues that were brought up before, then maybe you should come back with photographs that show that you've got these plants already in place,
Okay, maybe you should come back, that's a month,
right?
right? I mean, it's silly. Let's just call the thing.
wait till late fall
Have
and
the
no leaves on.
conversation.
But then,
Let's just call it a picture. And we got it.
But yes, and wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna show anything. That's honestly,
All right, then I request that all of you, so that you can have the drawing, come over and stand behind my solar array.
That's what the view we want. We want the view from the street to your array. Because we're not protecting your view from that, we're protecting you.
A 12-foot bank with a row of coniferous trees in front of it. And what you want me to do is plant coniferous tree in front of a coniferous tree.
Can you point out the trees to me on that aerial view? Oh, just move that down, yeah. That's.
White pine, white pine, white pine.
Okay. So we're along here, there were 3 white pines.
Oh my God, where'd I go?
I don't know, but they got a
there
pool.
was 3 of us there for quite a bit.
Yeah, we're all looking north across
Three of us
Maverick
there.
Road.
For a site visit, and we watched the cars go by on
Yeah.
Maverick Road. And we said, hey, you need a little bit of screening here. And you came back with a screening that wasn't right. Your claim was your man.
It was my man. sure.
Yeah, it's not our fault.
In other words, we can vote on it, but I can tell you right now, that we could vote on it and we can vote on 3 things. We can vote on keeping it the way it is. We can vote on you putting in 3 trees where we don't want them to be, or we can vote on putting in 3 trees that work. So we can vote on all 3 of those. Let's see if we can arrive at one that it makes, it's a win-win.
Why 3?
Oh, I mean, if, I don't know how to resolve this. If there are more, I can see them where the trees are on. I can see the.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
So, I remember when you came here. Yeah, I was here at the meeting just like,
Yeah.
And so the board here, we're all volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
We do this because we care about the community, live in this community. And I'm a strong believer in what's fair for one is fair for others. We've had people in here, some who have waited patiently, some who have come multiple times before, and they've had to come back until they fixed whatever it was, the satisfaction of everybody. Right?
Yeah.
So what I'm concerned about personally is this idea that somehow the board can agree with, and we live with here, thoughtfully and carefully. Agree on a decision with your input and your representative. We all agreed, we made a decision. We took a vote, we voted, you were happy, we were happy, everybody left here happy. And then now, a year later, you come back and forgive me if I'm misrepresenting you, but my understanding is now you're saying that scratch whatever we agreed to, let's move to plan B. Right, so my suggestion to you, sir, is this, with all due respect. Give us something, come up with an acceptable alternative, right? That meets the concerns of the neighbors, that satisfies the board, and that is fair in front of everybody, because these people here, they're not deaf, dumb, and blind. They're watching this and they're like, why do we have to go through this process if it's just, it's almost like a mockery in a sense. And we don't want that. And I'm not saying that that's your intention. Forgive me if that's, I'm not implying that at all. I'm just saying that it doesn't appear proper if decisions that are made solidly, thoughtfully, carefully, a year later, are just poof, like they never happened. Well, that's my concern.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
So I would make a recommendation that you and plant 3 pines within the visual.
There are 3 times.
Okay, I'm still making a motion that you plant 3 pines that are
3 more pines.
that are within the visual buffer.
I mean, you contracted for 3 trees, put them in. We want trees, the guys, you pay for them, put them in. Where's the downside?
Well, first the downside was I just got blue spruce, like not native. and-
That's why I said, I don't care what tree, just a
Okay.
tree that's evergreen that blocks.
So that's what started me thinking, and I started looking at where they were going.
So we all are in agreement that it makes no sense.
Sense to put them
to
where
put
they're.
them
Well,
where-
thank you. Yes,
No, we all agree that, and we all agree that the blue spruce don't function well. We're just talking about putting in some native pine, or at least that, I would make a recommendation, because we are also concerned about the fact that there is a requirement in the law that screening from public roads. So since most of the screening is deciduous, the pine trees are, I mean, I'm watching mine in the woods grow. I'll even bring you 3 if you want. Cause I've got a lot.
I want one.
Okay, I'll bring you one too, because I have tons.
Bring them right over.
Do you have a tree that you prefer?
And then-
Is there a particular tree that in your mind works?
Native.
Native.
Can you suggest something for us that works for you, that meets the purpose that,
Native.
you know?
Native pine tree.
That's not a species. I'm sorry.
I don't know my trees that well.
Well, I think.
I know it's
what I
gonna
think
be a
it is.
native evergreen, and it's not gonna be an arborvitae.
Well, the deer love them, besides. Huh?
Not the.
So I make a motion that we allow him to plant 3 native pines
Along
Along
Barber
that-
Road.
along
block
Barber
it
Road
visually
within-
From the neighbors.
and he can locate them so that they visually.
They should be at a minimum of, it shouldn't be seedlings. They
No, no,
should be
no.
like 6 to 8 foot trees.
I think we need to specify that tree. You can find whatever tree you want, but we need to specify what it is exactly. You have to tell us so we, because when you write it down, it has to be specific. It can't
Could
just
be a
say any
native
tree,
pine.
because that could become anything.
No, a native
So,
pine.
you know, he's gonna pick what works for him in his opinion, what, you know, meets the requirement. And then he lets us know what he has chosen, and then, but we have to, you know,
Well, you
Be
can write
specific
it out
about
as
what it
native
was.
white pine.
maybe.
But still, we have this thing to deal with. That's not the picture.
Wait, where is the hill from Maverick? You said that your property's down low. Where is?
It is, it's.
See where that arrow is? That arrow is,
Well, you know, just plant some tall evergreen bushes. If it's up there, a bush would be better than a tree. The
there's
tree,
the side of the road and it drops right off.
Yeah, I can tell that.
And it drops off about 10 feet.
Where's
Your
the,
your
Array is down close to the house that's showing in the bottom.
Yeah, to the front.
It's right on the edge of that.
Yeah,
green
in
space.
that open lawn.
it's right here.
Yeah, right in there.
There's 5 pines that are native to New York.
Oh, you
White.
Googling? I love
There.
Googling.
White pine, red pine, pitch pine, jack pine, and Scotch pine.
White pine.
6, 8 footers.
But when you put them in, you're gonna see through you can see the distance, whatever.
But eventually.
But I do agree, you have to own them for 20 years.
Okay.
We don't care, but you know something? It was,
I make a motion, I ask the court, somebody make a motion?
I make a motion,
Can I add one thing?
Yes.
Can we please put a time
Yes.
on this? Because at this point, we need to know by when these trees would be.
Okay, and if Tracy, I thought you did. I just want to read it back because I want it to be right. The 3 native white pines along Maverick Road. I heard 6 to 8 feet, and now I hear you want to plant.
By
a
October
schedule
first.
By October 1st. So 6 to
Or
8 feet
In the
was,
fall is a good time to plan, so.
Well, there's probably a certain time, like,
Right.
is that a reasonable time for completion? Is that-
Around here, I would, it's not bad, November, I would say.
We want to make sure.
I would say by November first, as a gardener, November first would be
okay,
better.
so 6 to 8 feet was what everybody agreed, right?
So we're just amending the prior, we're amending the
we're
prior.
ending the tree and the location.
By November 1st.
Are we all happy? Because we want you to be,
I would talk to the 3, and I've got a row of bigger trees.
We just picked 3.
Don't put them in front of the bigger tree, put them where there is no tree.
That's what I'm saying, just put 3 trees in the gap.
That's pretty,
3 1 in
that's
the
common sense.
Put him,
Why not?
Okay, can we call the question? Does it,
Why
what
not
do you want to make?
Why not?
Well, we have a motion
Why
in a
not
second.
20? So if you said
I can't second my own, can I make the motion?
Tracy made the motion.
I second it.
All in favor?
Any opposed?
No, you just did that, really?
Where are the trees? I got plenty.
Wait, why are you so surprised? We've been saying
Well,
for 20
this is
minutes.
a
the same thing.
compromise.
We're not gonna give you no trees. You can kind of guess that,
I
right?
got, this board approved whatever your prior plan was, so I'm not,
This is what you asked for. and we-
you asked for an
we all
amendment,
studied it,
we
we
provided an amendment.
So from actually not being allowed to speak at one of these meetings, have my character disparaged.
Your character.
Why was that? Why is that? Why is that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
Well, somebody said you agreed to it, now you want to back out? Meaning, I'm trying to
no, nobody's like that. Nobody's,
Ellen said
Oh, no,
that.
but you are here.
Sure.
Lister.
Didn't we also,
Yeah.
didn't we also agree to not have a public hearing?
yes, this was just a.
Also, because you were just counting off all. But we did give you that.
you gave me that. You
Yes,
did, you-
because I was
Yeah.
advocating to have the public hearing. We all spoke about it and then we agreed because you were vociferously against the public hearing.
Well, I just told you what would happen.
Right, and so after debate, we agreed with you and we did not have the public
But
hearing.
I think this is a win-win.
So-
I think I don't know why you're not happy. This is a win-win. We're getting our trees, you're getting your approval to do it.
The neighbor's getting their buffers. And
Yeah, and they're getting their buffer. I don't know what the downside of this is.
Well, the buffer's not well thought out. It's not
Well, then place them well thought out. We're just giving you 3 trees along Maverick. Can you just,
arbitrary. It's the trees.
no, it's not. It's by the
Yes,
code. We
but
have to
sir,
look at it.
when we were very specific, we weren't happy
There's
with
nothing
that.
we're gonna do that's gonna make you happy, and we're sorry, but we think this is a win-win.
all right, we're gonna move on to the next application.
November 1st.
Right.
And what happens if they're
When
not
do
there
I
by
get the
November
trees
1st?
to
What?
Do you have a pickup? I'll make you. I got pile of trees on my land.
What happens if they're not there? Oh, these are really good names. Okay, Emily and Daniel. What, can you just pronounce your name?
Emily Workman, Dan
Butts. Great names.
We're applying for a lot line adjustment on behalf of Gil and Rebecca. It is our intention to buy one of their lots, their driveway and garage across the border, and so we're asking to move that boundary over to that allow the purchasing of each. the undeveloped land, developed to keep their driveway and garage.
Where is that?
It's in, West Hurley's, 375.
Over Street? Over Street.
Yeah, yes, so, if there were concerns about, gaining access to the property, we are going to file for right of way on Clover Street.
My grandmother lives, at 9 Clover
Right,
Street.
and I did have, we already have calls from the highway superintendent saying that you have been out there and inspected it.
Oh,
It's all good.
Oh, yeah.
So, we did get a survey, so we have a drawing, our surveyors here to answer any questions. This is our first time doing something like this, so we will sure.
And you can run through the door.
It's okay, it's all
So there is this.
There's a lot of trees.
on the property.
Then we should get a solar panels.
Would you give some? Just.
Yes.
Yes.
Our surveyor's name is Carney, and he's.
So it's, I believe
Yeah.
Carney's name is on the file.
Yeah, I just saw it.
We zoom in there?
Yeah.
Go back to hard copies.
We do have some hard copies here.
Oh, let's just open up.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
I have my,
Just down from Berry Deep.
Oh, okay.
So,
The library.
He's my third grade teacher.
this is the original lot line here.
Yeah.
And so the proposed lot line adjustment will extend to their driveway and garage.
Okay.
And this is the lot line here.
Okay. Barrington. Then you'll upgrade it.
So we, and, we've spoken to the,
That's on the close.
So.
Was this lot line, or this right away?
Just look for the one side. Oh, yes. You can go up to.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's from you, is that your?
Yes, my grandmother lives
So
there.
this size, it owns this property.
Not
her.
Not her.
Okay, fine. So you give the end of her property to give you 24 feet. Yep. And then you're gonna have your access to that. Is it 50 foot?
it's a driveway.
Yeah, this is-
Correctly, gonna go there. Okay, good.
That makes sense.
Okay, so.
That's
What?
That's what's being heard. And like you.
Sorry.
No, this is the existing lot line, and this is the new.
What's the curve cut of driveway? 30 feet?
Oh, I don't know, it's 25 across, 26 feet, 22.
You're just gonna get the driveway.
Yeah.
The apron here is 26
Yeah,
feet,
this
22.
needs to be 50 foot, 50 foot.
No, he's got his 50 foot over here.
Why has he got this?
That's his right of way access to the property, and that's his 50 foot for the, make it a legal lot to build
They
on.
don't wanna come off of 375, so they don't need the front, they don't need the frontage, they just need, so 25 should be. I don't know, Mike approved it, I mean, I've talked to Mike, he.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yeah,
Mike
that's not the rule.
on the driveway.
Can you pick
On
your
a
brain?
driveway to a new subdivision,
It's not a lot line
Lot
adjustment.
line adjustment. It's not a subdivision.
It's just a lot line.
It's 50 foot of frontage on a major, on a primary street, but you can have a 25 foot access way.
that's correct.
But it doesn't have to be a 50 foot access way, 25 over here and 50 foot frontage.
Yeah, that's only if it's gonna be a roadway. For a private driveway, 25 is sufficient.
I mean,
Does anybody see any issues? I mean, they're basically just modifying the back corner to give one.
well, I do for really weird one, because it's in the code that every lot line has to be perpendicular to this, whatever, which is, so that would be a variance for you to get, I mean, it's a waiver. That's one of the, wasn't that one of the codes?
Yeah.
That I don't know why it hasn't come out, but every lot line should be perpendicular. I don't know why they didn't want to fix this.
where
but
possible.
we can-
Yeah,
where possible.
it says where
We can give them
possible.
that as a
That's
a waiver.
It says where possible.
Oh, I want one of those shirts.
So this here,
I got plenty in the budget, and how do you want?
just to clarify a little bit, when you get all done, It's gonna be one lot,
Yeah.
Yes,
the
yeah.
whole thing.
No,
No.
no, 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 no.
no.
Here's the original lot line. There's one lot here and one lot here. And that's the garage and the July for
They're
the
just, it's just so they can keep their driveway.
house. Their house.
A lot.
Oh,
The surveyor.
It's like-
Yeah, it's like a carrot. Yeah, yeah. They want to keep it, yeah.
But it's-
You can look at it anytime you like.
These people, at this time, they're sitting over there. They own two lots. They own this lot here. And they own this lot here where they live. This lot is vacant. They wanted to make sure that their garage was on the second lot. They wanted to make sure that this garage got put on with the house. So I revised this. Instead of going like this, it's gonna come down here and go straight over here. It's 25,
So it's a lot line adjustment between two
lot
lots.
line adjustment right now. That's all it is.
Is it existing two lots now or
Yes.
just one lot?
It's existing two
Oh, okay,
lots.
this is the existing line.
Yeah.
This is gonna be the, okay, got it.
So this
Oh, that's
lot is
existing.
shaped like this,
Right.
and then this lot's a square, so
Right.
they're making lot line adjustments, so
I see.
you keep your driveway.
Yeah, okay, I see.
It's a very,
And you're gonna use.
I've never
access
done
from
this.
here.
That's where the driveway's gonna be, okay. Oh, but they're gonna need an easement. Okay, great.
They know the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
Wants
no-
neighbors.
These
They know
people,
a guy.
these people own both of these big lots. And, what I've done is that the old area, I put here 1.796, and I've increased this lot to 2.281. And this one, I decreased it. All right?
But that's a
Then
big lot.
the second thing is that we're trying to get two things done at the same time. The people that are going to be buying this lot,
These-
this huge lot,
The granddaughter.
want to have a 25-foot exit, driveway exit. That's all it is, a driveway. And they're making this line parallel with an existing property line right here.
Cool.
It's,
Okay, so I mean, so it's
one of the more simple jobs that I've done.
Now, here to you guys, I mean, for lot line adjustments, you have the ability to, no public hearing, right? You just approve. Okay, so I make a motion to classify this as a type 2 action.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. I make a motion to approve the lot line adjustment for application. 2025, number 5, 05.
We're not done yet.
Shown on survey map prepared by Carney Reinhold.
Yes, that's done.
Dated 3/27/25.
Yeah.
Okay,
You see, this one's printed in black and white.
she likes that. Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
My second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Every time now.
Yeah.
The grandma here? She's not, she's 92, so she's,
Oh,
I think it's
right.
bedtime.
But Bill quickly, so you can enjoy being next.
Oh, yeah, she can't wait, yeah.
I'll email you
Do you know offhand what zoning district that is?
825.
25? Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All those in favor?
I know.
Thank you so much.
Do you have any spare time? Do you have any spare time?
I'm not sure what kind of. I can't find it.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. I know, I'm gonna get yellow.
Miller, okay.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good one.
Is that you? Is that you sitting there?
It is.
Okay. Oh, I knew that one. Oh, that's kind of cool.
This is just the meeting of lot line, why I'm here at the.
Yeah, why are you still here?
I have no
Class five, this
idea.
is a type two.
Is that anything, Colin?
I made a motion to classify this as a type two action.
Can we do that?
Make a motion to waive the public hearing?
Wait, so
All
this
those
is
in favor?
remove that line?
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
yeah. I forgot that.
I have no idea. If I was the one making the decisions, I would have written a unifying description, given it to my client, and filed it, and never bothered you guys with this, because I don't know how this falls under anything that equals jurisdiction of the planning board.
So
Because
I have to
you have to
motion
do
for
that
type
for
two, I
the,
don't have a second.
so that the,
Second.
real
That's
property
people.
will not have an issue. It's a deletion of an existing line, combining,
Yeah.
so you're taking two FPLs and making it
I'm
one.
pretty sure I could talk.
All in favor? What, type two?
I didn't know why I was voting on.
I do it. Somebody want a motion to approve it?
Second motion to approve it.
Which one is this, the Forest Road?
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta vote first to find out what you're voting for.
A second, to approve. A second. A second. Thank you. Anybody, all approve?
Aye.
Aye. New chairperson, man? No. Just- Are you fine with it? More?
No, that's
I'm
true.
just having
I
another
believe.
one.
Tired.
That's it.
I got actually.
You do much for your work? We had to do
Yes.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah. I like it.
Yes.
For some, no, actually, for some reason, I like this also. Because it's part.
Okay, oh, we have new business.
Oh, we do? Okay.
No, wait, is that no? Yeah. Oh, good.
May I ask one quick question unrelated to this?
Yeah.
Just to procedure. When, do you guys have periodic workshops where you talk about the code and making adjustments to
Yeah.
the zoning word?
Yeah.
How would I be aware of when the next one's happening? Because I'd like to come and talk about this particular lot line to the road.
Well, you,
thing.
oh, believe me, it's been talked about.
Well, it needs to be talked about again because it's free.
But you know what?
Word,
Can you
word,
send me an email?
That works on paper. It doesn't work anymore.
word works, it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's the particular one you're talking about is back on Schultz's property.
yeah, I'm just talking about it in
Well,
general.
that's the one that.
We
that
need
we're talking about.
to listen to the land in terms of where property lines.
To do it any
need to go,
different.
Not looking at our arbitrary.
Yeah, but it's not really an issue because it's like where possible and we waived it. It wasn't an issue for
Wasn't an
Schultz.
issue,
We said, okay, you're right, no problem.
because the code reads where it's
It's
possible.
just,
But it's only for the major subdivisions, which.
Right. anyway, I'm coming to
If
the
it
next
were
one of those.
across the
We
board,
talk about
You
it.
want us to go back and revisit it?
But it's only major subdivisions, which is 3 lots.
Can I,
And that's the difference.
I'm a happy guy who walked
It
it out
should be
the door, so.
Okay, thank you.
I feel the balance of the scales if it's towards happiness.
It should be 5 lots.
More
If
than
it's not sex.
I think we have more happy since.
Not, yeah.
Have a good night.
Does anybody wanna, I mean,
Oh, you going on?
Yeah, you don't need me anymore.
No.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, so we have 2 vouchers.
You guys are
here.
great,
We have
actually, that's all, I'm really pleased.
We have our escrow file.
Oh,
We're done. We're done. We have our escrow file for,
That's pretty much it. Have you done anything?
yeah, that was good. My only concern is that it took you a week to get out, to send them a copy of the invoice. So, if we can move the invoices out just so that it gives them time to respond.
Which I did. I told her that they needed to respond by tonight or it would be submitted for payment.
Does anybody want to see these?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, You know, part of me, I will just say, is fighting learning this code because I think that we're gonna make some changes to it, so. But thank you for being patient with me. Great, yes, Carly, you look like you wanna. I'm gonna get you out of here on time,
So,
7:21.
I'll keep you away. We
so we
have
can look at,
in one night.
facts.
I did look at it,
And we see where these
Yeah, happy
balances.
constituents.
No, I
It's
can.
about half. Do you want to bring it
Just one
back
exception.
up?
We weren't initially established.
Well, we only
We
did it
tried.
one time.
He didn't want
Okay,
to,
that's
he did not want to plant trees, he didn't want to spend the money. And he
So
felt,
that'll be when they'll have another.
That will be.
yeah, he just didn't want, he wanted to squirrel out of it.
You thought it could just come in and just.
This way or no way.
Make a motion to adjourn.
We needed to save face also.
Make a motion to accept the minutes that we all read.
Yes.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye, aye, aye.
Motion to adjourn.
Now, hold on, there's a couple things that, so I have everybody, having
Send me an
Dennis
email.
and Debbie, I have everybody's ethics disclosure, except for Greg.
Yeah,
You don't, you have to get me the ethics disclosure.
It's not ethical.
Oh, I have very end
So,
Is that on record?
No, not already. You know what it is, but I was teasing him.
okay, good.
Strike that from the record, please.
That's the problem.
The emails. Griff is gonna come in and we're gonna, Dennis, are you getting emails at your town of Hurley address?
I have not set it up yet. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
bad. But I will.
Okay,
I already put it in my calendar this.
okay. And Rowley and Janet, I know you're having some
We have,
issues.
I have access. I
Yeah,
have
you have
access.
access.
It's just that it's not prompting me when stuff comes in, and I'm not gonna naturally just go every day to check. So if they can do the simple notification, that would be at least something. It's not great, but it's better than
You know, I didn't set mine up, but it comes through on my regular Gmail. I can see it on my Gmail.
personal mail.
Yeah.
That's
No,
your
no,
No, the
no.
town of Hurley.
The
one
town of Hurley one
notifies.
pops into it, so I get little different colored
So,
Ds.
but she uses Gmail as her primary account,
I don't.
right?
Oh,
If
sorry.
You don't use Gmail as you won't.
I'm an alien.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I don't either.
I don't use you.
I don't trust you. I don't.
So, and Janet, you were in, but now,
I wasn't, but I'm using someone else's
so,
cell.
because you have a cell phone.
Because, but the lag time in that is so great, you know, for me to.
Right, every time you get that.
Every time I, right,
Don't
so
always
two people have to
renewal.
be like waiting, and then, now I'm locked out completely. I probably did change the password, I'm guessing, and didn't remember what I changed it to. It's just telling me I have no access, invalid, and that I must contact. So
Okay.
I was looking for a block of, and I. Such a prediction that this has to be this way, because not having a cell phone. I just have to say again that as a volunteer person, that I just find it obnoxious that I have to get a cell phone. This is not at
You don't have a cell phone?
No, she doesn't.
Oh, you're so cute.
It's not cute. It's no, it is a matter of principle, and you all aren't going to believe it because
We're going to
they
hell.
become part of your life, right?
Oh,
They
big
become an extension of your hand. You can't go anywhere without them. You sit with people at lunch and they're, you know, I'm there. I don't. they're-
How about when you go out to dinner and the lady next to you is going beep, beep, beep?
Yeah.
beep?
Talking, having a whole conversation.
So,
You know,
Ray, I know I helped you, your,
Oh,
Carl,
we got through
are
my
you on
part.
the wall, have you tried to do it?
no, there isn't.
So,
All right, so for those of you who do not get, so if there's some reason that there will be a whatever crisis again, I will call people who don't respond to my emails.
Well, I did
You
respond.
did, no, yeah,
But then you never called me.
no, I did try you, and then somehow I think and then,
Oh, okay.
Right.
I didn't see it in recent or missed calls or anything.
yeah, and I,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and we have had no site visits, like, since the one, which has been fine, and no pre-application conferences, because these have all been pretty,
2 weeks ago.
and so,
Tricia, thank you for your timekeeping, which is amazing. We are getting down nice, so kudos.
Did we want to bring up the thought?
Spent too long talking.
3 of us arrived at 5 o'clock today.
oh,
And we talked about the fact that
The tree guy held his.
for some of us, it actually could work. Like,
To move the meeting to 5
what
instead
do you
of
guys
5:30.
think?
Yes.
And we might be
Can we
home
just do that?
by dinner.
Well, you have to pass a motion, I'd have to send it to the town board, put it on, I mean, there's.
Yeah, how about this, guys? Ladies, 5 o'clock? 5 o'clock,
Tracy, is that something you can accommodate?
is that,
I would be fine with that, but I think with the calendar and the public and everything, maybe you need a couple of months to get that.
So we don't meet in August, why don't we say as of September
That's what I was
1st?
gonna suggest. We started,
September 1st, 5 o'clock?
not September first.
September, whatever our
Well,
meeting is.
First meeting.
Our first meeting is.
That's plenty of time.
Especially because then it'll start getting darker, like even in the winter, yeah.
Well, you have to send it to the town board.
I do, right, but we don't meet in August, so, it gives a month to
Right.
not have to worry about it, so thank you for
So
remembering.
the only other thing that
Yeah.
the only other thing that I would ask is, I think that the public comment, I mean, well, as long as you guys are okay with does anybody have anything? Let's close it. I mean, I think it's crazy. I don't know why anybody.
Why are you so close to it?
No, I'm saying, as long as you guys are, no, I'm saying, as long as you guys are okay with does anybody here, does anybody not, then closing
They
it,
don't
it's
step
fine,
up.
I don't care.
Yeah, you were required. That's the thing. It's like,
Public comment, anybody here? No.
I mean, we're not gonna send out.
No, I was just saying, when you told it, and I went like, okay, no, that's all I
That's
was.
fine. Is there anything else?
So obviously we won't do the visual assessment draft because Mitch isn't here.
No, we're not doing any of that. So a report on that, Debbie and I met with Matt. Paul has submitted a bunch of suggested.
Right.
Maggie submitted some suggestions. We're trying to call everything together and then we'll come back to the board. So we're looking to do this all as one fell swoop.
What about fee changes?
Yes, we'll get to that.
What about
Changes?
fee
Now that-
Fee changes, the applicant, all of it, we'll try to
So
get it
that's,
all.
so we're not gonna talk about that tonight. And updated forms.
So Raleigh did change the existing stuff into the format we're using, so that's what I'll be sending out for now until we do bigger changes.
Aerial forever.
And you understood my saying, we don't need to include what the blocks are or the signature, I mean, the way that you had that.
Right, so my question, I don't know if you saw my subsequent question is if it could just be a cover sheet to the applicant of kind of instructions of how.
That's what we will come out of this whole thing also, and that'll just be a standard, these are the notes that you want on the maps, these are the standard things.
Because right now, our code is completely wrong with what it requires, and it doesn't require an amount really that is, because what I'm supposed to.
We don't need to debate
Okay.
that, we're just saying, yes,
All right.
we're dealing with that.
I think that's all the business that I.
Motion to adjourn,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Thank you for answering my questions.
When's our next meeting?
The 25th, send me an email.
June 25th with the deadline of June 4th.
Okay,
We're
so,
gonna sit
we'll-
again? I wanna talk
Oh,
about-
I'm not great.
Reminder, applications, I think that will be changing. Debbie, did you lick it? Debbie.
What?
You just wanna lick your little, thing so you can hand it to Maggie and